It's interesting how you say that people want enough money to retire. I want enough money to finally have the room, and then they don't know what they want to do.
Well, this is what drives me crazy. So this idea that one day I will have enough money to do what I truly want. And the idea is one day I will finally go to the gym. One day I will finally travel. One day I will finally do all these hobbies. It's living life serially, like as if you're gonna do A, then B, then C.
One day I will finally be happy.
Bingo, that's the ultimate. And what we discover is that as you get older, the ability, the muscle to do those things atrophies. You don't turn 65 and then suddenly become an adventurous traveler. And you don't become 65 and suddenly say, yeah, I'm gonna change my life about this. Now you could, but it's prohibitively difficult. And so what I would rather do is say, I wanna live a life today where I'm earning more, I'm spending time on fitness, I'm traveling, family, and I actually think that society has started to tell us you can't do that. They've actually lowered the standards. You should just be happy you have a job. Forget about retirement. That's not even gonna be around when you retire. Instead, what we can do is to say, you know what, I'm taking back control. I'm gonna surround myself with people who are into self-development, who are successful, and I'm gonna see the secret skills and habits that they use, and I'm gonna adopt them for myself.
I think you're alluding to it, but maybe you could tell us what you call is the rich life. And I think this is really important because it's not necessarily what people think it is. People might think it means you got the Bentley and the private jet, but you think that's not what the rich life needs to be, right?
Yeah, I think that when you ask people, what does rich mean? The answers are so fascinating. So first off, they say, I want to pay off all my debt. And I just think to myself, if that is your dream, it's no wonder you're not living a rich life. Because who gets motivated by saying, I want to go from -10 to 0? 0 is not aspirational. It may be if you're in that time period, but dream bigger. There's more to life than being at 0 debt. The second answer I get is $1 million. Where'd that number come from? Like, are you 20? Are you 50? Do you live in Manhattan? Do you live in Kansas? Clearly that number's just picked out of thin air. And the third is just, I want to do what I want when I want. And again, when I ask them what, they haven't really dialed it in. When I think about a rich life, what I encourage people to do is to get super specific. When I moved to New York, my dream was to be able to take a taxi instead of going on the subway if I had to go to a meeting in summer. The cost, irrelevant, $3, whatever. But for me, that was rich. Then it was to be able to order appetizers, because when I was a kid, we never did that. Right? We went out once a month. We had a coupon. We went to a pizza place.
Right.
That was life.
Sounds like my mom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and of course, as you get older, maybe more successful, your dreams get bigger. But the specificity there was amazing. And so when people say, my rich life is like, I like to eat out, I say, awesome. You like to eat out. I love that. What would you do if you could quadruple your spending on that? And this is called a money dial. It's like a stereo dial. You can turn that dial up.
What do people say to that?
Okay, so they always say the same.
Out.
They go, I would eat out 4 times a week. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. They always go linearly, as if they would do the thing they love, and then they would do it 4 times more. And I ask them, where do you eat out? And they'll be like, Chipotle. I'm like, you're spending 2 times, 4 times, 10 times more on that money dial, that thing you love. Are you still gonna be eating at Chipotle? And you can see their eyes go like this because they've never considered that the money lens through which they're viewing the world might change. So I had a guy in DC when I was on tour, and he said, my money dial is eating out. And I said, what would you do if you could quadruple it? He said, 4 times. I said, really? What would you do? Think about your dream, your money dial. And he gets quiet and he says, I have a list of every Michelin-starred restaurant in DC. I would go to each one. And then I said, who would you take with you? The room is completely silent. He goes, I would take my family. Why? Because they have never been able to afford to eat at a place like that. So this concept of a rich life is so challenging because it's not linear. If you love clothes, if you turn that dial way up, if that's the thing you love, then you can spend extravagantly on that, and you can cut costs mercilessly on the things you don't. So if you love clothes, You might not shop at the same place. You might fly to Italy and go to the factory where it's made by hand. If you love fitness, you might hire a trainer. If you love philanthropy, you might give 10 times the money and 10 times your time. But this is the beauty of a rich life. It's customized to you. It's totally different than anyone else. And in fact, the more you dial it in, the more crazy you're gonna seem to other people. And that's exactly the way it should be.